Greetings, BUSN 1300 personal finance online students. Welcome into this, what is it, the third week of our 2014 fall semester. Grades are posted for the Chapter 1 discussion. Based on those, I want to give you a little feedback for the Chapter 2 discussion. I do see that about 4 of you have already posted your Chapter 2 discussion, and so I'm not saying it does or it doesn't. I actually have not looked at those posts yet. But if this changes anything about your posting, simply post again, but make sure you put in all capital letters with maybe some stars off to the side, something that says corrected post. Okay, now we don't want to get in the habit of doing that because I really only want to grade one post. Okay, but I'm giving you some feedback. We're early in the semester, and so for those 4 people, if you haven't had the chance to incorporate it, I want to make sure that you have that opportunity. Okay. By and large, I could see a trend where you all were being concise, and I think that's a really good thing in a discussion posting. And I did say to you, these are not supposed to be big, long papers, and it's not. A discussion board posting is typically short and concise. But you know, in order to make something short and concise, may require that you spend just a little bit more time on it than you may realize, okay? You know, it makes me think of an old adage that says, I'm sorry for writing you such a long letter. I didn't have time to make it shorter. The joke there is, seems like it would take less time to make a short letter rather than a long letter. But in fact, to get the point across and to say everything that you need to say in a few words, a few sentences, actually requires some thoughts. That's one reason that I would encourage all students to type up their response in a word processor first. Delete some words, add some words, run spell check, look at the grammar, look at the punctuation, those simple things that you're going to lose points on, and fix those so that we can really focus on the content of each other's discussions. Okay, now let's talk about that. Well, first of all, let me kind of jump around here. I think I can do this. Yeah. This is the first posting, Money Problems in America, and you can see that there were 9 main posts, and then some students responded to each other, which I think is fantastic. And I do see, you know, down here that 4 students have already posted to the Chapter 2 discussion. So I'm asking you a question. In this case, why do you think Americans seem to have more money problems than people in other countries? Just looking ahead, is a person's advancement in an organization more a result of skills and initiative or else personal contacts? Well, the first problem that I would say that you're going to run into in the Chapter 2 discussion is that you're going to try to tell me either both or neither. Now, there's a lot of ways that you hem and haw when you do that. You say, well, I really think A, but I kind of think B too. I really think B, but let's not discount A. No, remember our whole thing with personal finance is you have to make clear-cut decisions. I'm asking you to choose one. Tell me which one has more influence, this one or that one. I know that both of them are involved, otherwise I wouldn't ask you the question. I didn't say is it a result of your skill or what you ate for breakfast, right? So I want you to make a clear-cut decision. Now, is that hard? Do you risk being wrong? Yes, you do, but you're not going to be wrong. You know why you're not going to be wrong? And this goes to the things that I saw in the first discussion, is because you're going to back up your opinion. You're not just going to say, well, this is my opinion, because if you do that, then you know what? I might agree with you, I might not, because you don't know what my opinion is, right? That's why these opinion things can kind of be dangerous. You got to have them, though, right? I mean, that's what people are going to hire you for. That's what you're going to do in the workforce. You're going to say, this is what I think we should do. This is how the action that I think we should take. So you're going to make an opinion. But you're going to do it based on your education. And in this case, the readings, the reading is really a collection of people who have already figured this out. It's frameworks, it's history of business. It's people who have researched the field and kind of already know. So that's what you want to base your opinion on. Now, your opinion is going to be different depending on what, stage of life you're in. Are you a young person? Do you have a family? Do you have children that are relying on you? Are you older, or is retirement more your concern? Have you been laid off? Do you have a job? Are you changing jobs? All these factors can influence your opinion, okay? So the book does a marvelous job of taking all those things into consideration. And so you're going to use that book to support your opinion. Okay, so let me get to the crux of what I want to talk about. When you post, concise posts are great, but y'all struggle just a little bit with this one. Make a statement of your opinion. Now, you have to do these things meticulously and cleanly. And it may sound a little simplistic, but I want to know what you think. I think this. Is a person's advancement in an organization more a result of skills? Well, if you think so, then you say, I think a person's advancement in an organization is more a result of skills than initiative. Or you say, I think a person's advancement in an organization is more a result of initiative. Or, I'm sorry, the first one was a result of skills and initiative. So you would say that. Or you would say, I think it's more a result of personal contacts. Sorry for messing that up there. Okay? Clearly state it. Do not, at this point, give a page number, because you and the authors, y'all have not talked. It is not y'all's opinion. Put some Southern out there, right? It's your opinion. Therefore, at this juncture, in that first sentence, a page number does not come into reference. I want to know what you think. When I asked you up here, why do you think Americans seem to have more money problems than people in other countries? Some people would say page 5, page 7, page whatever, okay? Nope, that's not your opinion, okay? So you got to be real clean cut. Now, I think you're trying to kind of get it all done in one foul swoop, and you can't do that. This is clear and concise writing. It's the way the business world works when it works well. When people skip steps and run things, miscommunication abounds. So you have to be bold enough. You have to be strong enough to say, this is what I believe. Now, trouble's coming. Trouble's coming in Dodge City. So what do you do next? You got to supply some kind of reference. Now, here's the next place where folks went wrong. If you said, I believe that a person's advancement in an organization is more a result of skills and initiative than it is personal contacts, your second statement is going to support that, right? So in other words, you're looking through the book to say, what do they think? And on one page, they may say, well, this is, in this situation, we think it's this. And in this situation, we think it's that. What you don't want to do is change the topic. And many, many of you did that. So I'm not singling any one person out. Many of you did this. You would say something like, my favorite color is red, but apple pie is very sweet. Page 7. What? That has nothing to do with your opinion, okay? The reference has to be something that supports your opinion. Now, some of you use little quotes from the textbook, and that's fine. For example, they said this or they said that, and that's fine. Be careful, though, because even when you're supporting your opinion, I do not want to copy and paste out of the textbook. I don't want to copy and paste from the internet, and folks, I run them. And so I check them for cheating is what I mean when I say I run them. Because if your writing style changes so drastically, it kind of becomes obvious. Not a little. It kind of, sort of hugely becomes obvious. Okay, so in your own words, tell me from the textbook. Now, when I say in your own words, the textbook may give examples. They may give a list. For example, in this first question, I'm going to keep flip-flopping between these. your textbook talks about money problems, and you may say, I think it's credit, as the textbook says, and I don't have mine in front of me right now with the page number, but as the textbook says, we have a wide issuance of credit cards. We do not use cash. We're not as much a cash-based society anymore. We are in a low economy. So you see how each of those factors that I'm listing supports my opinion that I started. I maybe didn't give you opinion, but backs up that opinion. So in other words, if you believe that it's a result of skills, why do you believe that? What supports your belief if it's skills and initiative? If you believe it's personal contacts, and I have a lot of students every semester say, I don't care what you know, it's 100% who you know. Says who? You'll hear me ask that question a lot. Says who? I do not mean to be denigrating to you in any way. I'm not trying to poke fun and say, well, who do you think you are? That's what the world tends to say. If you go into your boss and you say, you know what, I think we ought to add some more people. Let's set up some more desks. Why? Says who? Who do you think you are? You say, you know what, I think we ought to open up a second store on the other side of town. Really? Says who? What's your data? You got to have something to support your belief. That's what I'm looking for. Does that start to make sense to you? I need something that substantiates. The worst thing in the world is my gut. That's what tells me. My gut tells me. I think it. I believe it. I believe it strongly. Here's the problem with that. We talked early on about the need to use your education in all of your college work, and most importantly, to demonstrate your knowledge. And folks, that second sentence, now's your chance. That's what I'm grading. I had a student one time say to me, sounds too much like you're grading English and grammar and that's all you care about. Well, first of all, I oftentimes cannot really understand what you're saying unless you take time to clean up your writing, okay? Because you confuse me and I have to keep backing up and reading something 2, 3, or 4 times and I just get lost in what you're trying to say. So again, it is about clear communication. But after we get past the spelling and the grammar and the capitalization and the punctuation, and all those things are important, I want to know what you think. And I've asked you what you think, and that's your opinion statement, but I need to know what you understand from the reading. These questions are not things that we just made up that are unrelated, okay? They are directly related to what you've just read in your textbook. And it's your opportunity to apply. Let's put that on the screen and underline it, okay? Apply your knowledge. You must demonstrate that you understood what you read. Well, Dr. Joan, that's a lot of work. I don't know what you're asking me to do. I'm not asking you to write a paper. We could go that route, but I'm not asking you to do that. All I need you to do is in a couple sentences, and you say, well, I'm going to have to really think about those sentences. Gotcha. That is exactly what I want. I want you to think about how what you read in your textbook supports that question. How has it influenced your opinion? If you had the opinion that you have now prior to ever reading that chapter, that's fine. But now you need to understand why you have that opinion, and you need to be able to explain it to someone else, and that someone else has 2 thumbs that point like this. Alrighty? So you can do that, but you're going to have to take more than 15 seconds to do it. All right, so you can do it. All right, so I've given you sentence number 1, which is your opinion statement. I've told you that sentence number 2 has to directly support something, add some information, a page number, something that supports your opinion. Okay, now, what do you do for the rest of it? Because you don't want to write 2 sentences. I'm just telling you what my strategy would be. I don't think 2 sentences is going to be enough to demonstrate your knowledge, okay? So now let's go a little bit further. You may have an example from your life. Be careful about oversharing. Do not overshare, okay? Understand that others are reading your post, not just me, okay? You may have an example from the book. You may say, think about something in the news or a current event that you've read about, recently seen on television even, that supports what you're saying, because that demonstrates to me that you are applying the knowledge. You may want to explain something a little more deeply. Now, here is to the last area I'm going to talk about, because I know you're getting tired of these long videos, okay? But in an online class, it's good that we talk every once in a while. Be careful about introducing a point that you do not explain. If you throw a bunch of terms at me, then that's how I grade it. It is nothing more than a list of terms. I no sooner believe you read it than the man on the moon. Because what I know that you did is you opened the book and you said, there's a word right there, experience, going to put that down. Right? No, what do you mean by that? What does it relate to? You say, oh, Dr. Joan, what are you saying? It sounds like every time I say something, I got to say 10 more things. Well, you're going to have to be careful about what you say and how you explain it. And you're going to have to take time to be very clear. Another way to say this is, if you walk through the door, or if you open the door, you're going to have to walk through it. If you now, in this third sentence, open up an entirely different concept, you have talked very nicely about that your favorite color is red. You have found a reference in the textbook that supports that 70% of the people, their favorite color is red, and now you start talking about mom's apple pie. You got a lot more talking to do, because now you've switched the subjects. So, you can switch subjects. Just be prepared to write a lot more when you do, if you have multiple points that you want to expound on, okay? So here, what's the moral to the story, though? You are going to have to take time to demonstrate your knowledge. Tell me your opinion. Find some references in the textbook. You're going to have to take some time to explain some of these terms and to explain some of the things that you're thinking of, okay? That will make for a really good posting. So heed this advice. I will be looking for it in the Chapter 2 post. Now, what did I not say? I did not emphasize in this video that spelling is important. I did not emphasize in this video, like I have in past videos, that proper punctuation is important. For example, you would never use lowercase I when you're talking about yourself. I believe, capital I, okay? You would never not put a period in a sentence and have something that wraps around is about 500 words, okay? You would use some punctuation, put some commas in there, right? If you are quoting the textbook, you need to put the quotes around the words. Also, final note, I didn't say this either, but, not final note, before I end that note, capitalization in terms of the start of a sentence, also very important. Proper grammar, run your grammar check to make sure that that's working okay for you. When you reference the textbook, I need to know what that page goes with. So if you say, my favorite color is red, period, page 7, period, lots of people like the color red, period, page 25, period. Blue is also nice, page 52. Right? Where do these, what is supporting what? I can't tell what goes with what. For a couple of you, I commented on that. I look for you to incorporate my feedback to you. If you don't, then, gosh, I tend to believe that you read it and you chose not to. Like you're saying to me, I'm not doing it. And I will increase the number of points that I take off, okay, until we reach an understanding. So don't waste points on that kind of stuff. These are postings that you should be getting A's on, and you can, but it will take a few minutes, and it will require you to evolve as we go through the class. You're saying, but this sounds so much like English. Will you be a better writer by the end of the semester than you are now? I hope so. I also think that it will improve you professionally as you communicate on the job, off the job. It does take practice. It's not a skill that comes to you overnight if you're not used to speaking in that manner, okay? So I know you can do it though. Let me tell you, when I give you feedback, in my opinion, I don't ever think that I ask you to do something that you are completely incapable of doing. And I do think that I ask you to do things that are important in the business world. I know many of you are in the business world, and these are things that as you incorporate them into your speaking, into your writing, you may even notice that coworkers and supervisors say, you did a really excellent job of making your point in there. You know, people will begin to comment on that. It takes practice though. All right. So get to posting. If you need to repost, just make sure you put in big capital letters that this is a corrected post. Put some stars around it so I know what's going on. The most important thing though is that you're doing the work, reading the book, doing the quiz, and making the posts. Okay. Our due date is coming up. You got a few more days. So get out there and do it. And I hope you're enjoying the content. All right. We've talked about that. All right. So I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.